Okay, this is a brief introduction to the new stream temperature database for Asotin. So this is the start page. You just select your name first and then move on. So it's broken up into multiple tabs, and I might clean it up to make it look a little prettier, but right now it at least functions. So you would first you can import data. You can also add specific loggers to be able to import the data from those loggers later. Likewise, you can add sites, and right now it just has the IMW sites where we have temperature probes, and you can make up your own site name and give a location. It'll keep that in the database. And then for the loggers, they start off with hobo because all of our stream temp loggers right now are the hobo pendants, but you can change that. And then equipment, make, model, and when it was last calibrated, and any notes. This is just all stuff that was in the original temperature database, so trying to maintain that metadata. And so to import a file, you select the file to import, and you would select the CSV that you took from, or that you made with the hobo file. This is in the same format that the old database was using, so there's no surprises here. You select it and then give it the logger name, which when we name our CSV files, we put it in the file name right there. So I'll just select it. It's 2017599. And this list that pops up is from any loggers that are in the database that have been added using add logger. So you can keep tabs on them. And then the site that it comes from, which is also in the file name, so CCF1. Then you hit import file. It gives you a warning. That might take a bit. So it took about 20 seconds to import the records, and then it asks if you want to search for and delete duplicate records. So this would be if you accidentally loaded the same CSV twice. So you'd hit OK, and it will look through for any duplicate date time records for that site. And so because in this example I had already uploaded this, it imported nearly 3,200, but then all of those were duplicates, so it found them and deleted them. So once you have your data in, you can rank the data. Just a sec. So ranking data, you select site, so this would be anything that was added in the Add Site tab. So these are all of the sites where we currently have loggers. So let's say that one I just imported, CCF1, and then it'll have all the data collection events for uploading records, and that will be the date that you uploaded the record and the site and temperature probe name. So if I select that, takes those records and builds a graph, and so this is an interactive graph. All the records right now are yellow because they have not been assessed, as in they've just been imported but not ranked. And so you can zoom in on any of these records and you get a little pop-up that shows you the temperature at that time. You'll notice there's this little dip here where there are some orange records, so if we zoom into that, these ones turn orange. Those are marked as suspect. Anything below 1 degree Celsius or greater than 28 degrees Celsius will be marked as suspect, just to remind the user that they may need to change the rank on that. And so the purpose of ranking is to mark things as pass-fail. It's sort of a data quality check. So the way to do this is I've automatically got this date range between, or starting at the first record, 7/24. And so I'm just going to make it quick, I'm going to go to the last record, December 3rd. So I'll change my end date to December 3rd. I'm going to mark them all as pass. So when I hit rank, I'll do that. And it changes them all to blue. But I know that these were suspect right here. So I'm going to look at kind of the beginning of that, which is November 23rd, 2010. So select that on the calendar. And then it ends November 26-ish, so I'll do that. I'm going to mark it as fail because of ice. Oh, November 3rd. So I made a mistake there. Let's just go back and mark those as pass. It was November 23rd. So November 23rd to a November 26th. Fail because of ice. Okay, so now that marks it as red. So we know that from now on. And the other tabs here can query data. Which allows you to just pull up the individual records for everything that's in here if you hit show all. This gives you every record that's currently in here, so I have Charlie F2 and F1 in right now, and then their quality rank, and you could go through and also change the ranking individually right here to clean it up a bit more. Likewise, you can sort by stream or site. So if I change it to site, and I choose Charlie F1, then I only see the Charlie F1 data. And you can export the data right here. It'll only export what's currently shown, so this would be kind of exporting the raw data right here. So it tells me that those records were successfully exported to this file. You can hit thanks, and what that did was automatically create a folder called temperature export in the same directory that your database is in. And here's some of my exports already. And there's the one we just created. But then if you want some more, the daily summaries, you can do that right here. So there's Charlie F1, and this is taking those hourly measurements and summarizing them by day. So the daily mean, min, and max for whatever you select. You can do Charlie F2 as well. Now there's the daily min, max for Charlie F2. And likewise, I can do filter by stream and get all of the Charlie sites that are currently in here. And then when you hit export, it does the same thing. So daily records were exported to the file, daily summary, and that goes to the same folder, and likewise that automatically opens up the file for you in Excel. This came up on my other screen. Okay. Then also, because we may have lost probes, or probes have been damaged, otherwise we're just missing dates where temperature at a site wasn't collected, we can hit the Assess Data Gaps tab. Don't let this scare you, this is a completely separate table, just preparing it for doing the data gap analysis. So what that did was create a table with just basically every record from the beginning of the IMW, the earliest temperature record we could possibly have, up to the current date. And this will go on, current date will update depending on what day you're opening the database. And so to fill in gaps, you first select the stream you're working in, so Charlie Creek, and the site that might have gaps, Charlie F1. And then you can select a site that's nearby to create a regression between the two to fill the gaps on this site. And so when I select Charlie F1 to fill the gaps and Charlie F2 to create the regression, and then hit run search, it's going to grab all the sites that or all the temperature measurements that are matching by date and time between these two sites. That's what it's doing right now, pulling in Charlie F1 data, and then now it's pulling in Charlie F2 data that matches those dates and times from Charlie F1. Then it creates a regression. So here's our equation for that regression. The R squared, 0.98, which is very good. And those are all the data points that match, and the red line is the regression. So you can hit cancel, and that if you don't like it, for some reason you got a horrible R squared, you can hit cancel and start over with a different site. Or you can hit use this regression, and that will use this equation to fill in those gaps on Charlie F1 where data on Charlie F2 exists. So it tells me it worked. 7,426 temperature records were added for site Charlie F1. So that's that number of records on Charlie F2 where Charlie F1 was missing, so it could fill in those gaps. And it asks, do you want to update the database with these estimates? Just a final check, because once you hit yes, it's going to take this temporary table and add it to the full database. So if I hit yes, it'll do that now. Alright, so it imported the new regression data into the database, and we can check that by going to rank data, select that site. Now there's a new DCE in here, and any records that were created using regression will, instead of saying a logger name, will say regression and the site that was used for the regression. So if we select that, got all these new records. So we can do the same thing. There's two dips here, but just for quickness, I'm going to go ahead and pass these as rank. Put the rank on these as pass, because anything in the summary tab is only going to show past data. So September 23rd to July 24th, 2010. Mark it as pass. Okay, and just to show that it is all now one record, I can go to the summaries. If I filter by site to Charlie F1, so the actual logger data stopped at 724 right here, and so then continuing on after that are all the regression source data, and that goes on for as long as Charlie F2 went, which was 12/3/2010. So that's it. A couple more cleaning up things to do, but so far it works a lot better than our old one, so we'll probably be putting all of the data in here and start using this from now on.